Hello everyone. Why can neuromodulation completely change the trajectory of your autistic child? My name is Paul. I am the father of an autistic child who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. He is now 10 years old and was diagnosed as level 1 autistic. And for a very long time I was in a kind of therapeutic wandering, meaning I was stuck. Very little progress, very little improvement. Every time it was a cold shower when I was told that I had to accept it, that it was fate, that it was inevitable, that nothing could be done, that it was the brain, that all we could do was take ABA classes, that is behavioral improvement sessions with a specialized educator, and that maybe with brain maturation, things would get better. So it was a way of inviting me to resignation, to acceptance. And then came my massive surprise, a surprise that was absolutely unexpected, truly exceptional and beyond belief. I was at a specific point in my life where, after fighting tirelessly for my son for 6 or 7 long years, I had honestly tried everything humanly possible. I tried everything, every option that was available, because as a responsible father, every time my son did something problematic on a playground, hitting another child, or displaying stereotypical behaviors in a public place where we couldn't listen to music at home because he would cover his ears, I would ask myself what I was going to do with him in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, and so on, and so on. Each time it was a cold shower, a source of insomnia, so an absolutely enormous amount of suffering. And the difference is that I went through the same journey that you are probably experiencing today if you are watching this video, and I want to make you aware of one thing. You probably haven't yet taken advantage of everything that's possible for your child. You were told that there was only ABA, you were told that miracles aren't possible, that you just have to accept it. But know this, when it comes to the brain of an autistic child, there are basically 2 major types of autism at the brain level. There is structural autism, which is an atypical wiring. That is to say, a genetic problem, meaning your child was born that way. This is the most unfavorable scenario. And there is a second scenario which is not distinguished from the first one. In the literature and in the diagnoses made today by autism specialists, wrongly so due to incompetence and a lack of understanding of autism, this is what we call functional autism. That is to say, your child, and I hope that this is the case for your child, because if it is, it means that the potential for improvement is much greater. Functional autism means that the child's problem is electrophysiological, meaning your child has issues with hypoactivation. Gamma, for example, is a frequency band that is deficient in most autistic children, according to scientific literature. I invite you to look at some sources that I have linked in the description of this video, because your child may have connectivity issues between different areas of the brain or problems with electrophysiological synchronization. You should know that electrophysiology is like the software. The wiring is the hardware. So today, you have many children who are diagnosed as autistic, who are told that it's over, that nothing can be done, that we can only make slight improvements, but who actually have intact brain wiring. And that's serious. Because electrophysiology can be corrected with neuromodulation. Why do I allow myself to tell you this? I'm not selling dreams, I'm not a charlatan. I base myself on scientific literature, but above all, I rely on my own case. In practice, my son. It's been 3 months since I started neuromodulation and I've seen exceptional results. Hypersensitivity has disappeared. Before they were always doing this, they couldn't listen to music, it just wasn't possible. As soon as the kids at school laughed or shouted, they would do this. So there was auditory hypersensitivity, tactile hypersensitivity, self-stimulation, little noises, restricted interests. They would write the alphabet, the letters in the air. Maybe you recognize yourself in these symptoms. Problems with concentration. He would get up after 15 minutes, he couldn't stay seated for too long. Limbic problems, meaning one moment he's laughing, the next he's crying, then laughing again, then crying again. Problems with emotional regulation, so serious issues with concentration. And your whole family had to deal with this constantly, every day. Extremely disabling, a source of daily suffering. It kills your level of happiness, it lowers your happiness, it worsens your child's outlook as they become socially isolated. You then have the choice between putting them in a school for children with disabilities, for autistic children, or seeing them stigmatized in an inclusive school. You should know that there is a major lever. Today, well, I shouldn't say today because it's actually been about 10 or even 15 years now. That scientific literature has clearly shown in a very significant way that autistic symptoms can be improved very significantly thanks to neuromodulation. Why? Because, as I explained to you earlier, when a brain has a deficit in the gamma frequency band, when a brain has a connectivity problem, when a brain has a problem with hypercoherence, all of that can be improved and is reversible, provided that you implement a sufficiently intensive protocol. In my case, in 3 months, I eliminated most of the autistic symptoms. That is, restricted interests, self-stimulation, stereotypes, hypersensitivity, and concentration. It's regulated, it's calm. In 3 months of intensive neuromodulation combined, of course, with a specialized educator for 7 hours a day. I'm not criticizing ABA, I'm not criticizing specialized education, but I think that when a child has an electrophysiological issue, it's like wanting to appeal, to want to learn, to function. It's like wanting someone with a broken leg to do high jump. They might try to do the high jump, but they're not going to jump very high. So ABA is great, but you're going to invest a lot of time. I'm not even talking about money, but about the time for results that are only so-so, which in my case were weak. Because if there's an electrophysiological issue, you have to address the source. So neuromodulation, I'm not selling you a dream here, rely on the scientific literature, can completely change things. The trajectory of your child in terms of development, in terms of stigma, in terms of socialization ability, in terms of regulation, in terms of daily disability, in life, in daily life, autism specialists, your psychologist, your psychoanalyst, your pediatrician, your doctor will tell you it's experimental, but that's not true. It's just that they haven't read the latest bibliographic references much. You should encourage your doctor and your psychologist with all due humility to consult the latest scientific literature. Today, there are cohorts of children diagnosed with autism on whom neuromodulation protocols have been implemented. 6 hours, 10 hours of neuromodulation, and improvements of 10, 20, 30%, sometimes even more, have been observed. In my son's case, I've already seen much more improvement in just 3 months. So the question is it worth it? I want to tell you it's worth it 10 times over. Because the longer you wait, the harder it gets, the more the windows of plasticity close, the more you suffer the longer you wait. And we have no right not to try a tool of this caliber when it is supported by scientific literature. So be aware that there is a great lack of knowledge on this subject and that you can change a lot of things for your child. If you're interested in this video, and I hope you are, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Why? Because in the upcoming videos, I will share with you Alexandre's progress, how he is progressing with this neuromodulation protocol that I have implemented. Today, I already have exceptional results. Now I will see how things continue to develop. The next challenges are language, theory of mind, and the complete disappearance, truly complete disappearance of symptoms. Today, I have seen a 90 to 95% reduction in stereotypes and self-stimulation. We'll see if they disappear completely, so I will keep you updated in the upcoming videos. And of course, I wish your child the best possible improvement. And I wish you good luck in educating and helping your child improve.